This is the 2025 Lenovo Legion 7i, and yes, it's white. Like, how often do you see that? Not many gaming laptops come in white. And when I reviewed the 2024 model, I said it was one of the nicest looking laptops you can buy. That still holds true today. I'm really glad Lenovo didn't ditch the white chassis. It looks too good. Like, other brands sometimes try white, but it ends up looking more like a dull silver. HP is the only other brand that kind of nailed the white look with their Transcend. But it just does a much better job hiding fingerprints. Like, if you're constantly picking it up, you just won't see smudges everywhere, even though technically they're still there. And the best part is, even though it's a gaming laptop, it doesn't scream gaming laptop. It actually looks classy. Sure, you've got the Legion branding right in the middle. It doesn't light up, thankfully, but it does have a reflective finish. The Lenovo logo sits at the bottom, but the real touch of class is the chrome wraparound. Like, it gives the nice two-tone vibe without making it look tacky. But here's the best part. For a 16-inch laptop, it's pretty light, like just 4.5 pounds. Students, like, this actually might be up your alley. Port selection is not bad too. Like, on the left-hand side, you have your USB-A port, two Type-C ports. One of them is Thunderbolt 4, your combo audio jack. And then on the right-hand side, you have a full-size SD card slot, switch to disable the webcam, another USB-A port, and then around the back, you'll find the power connector and a full-size HDMI. Now, the only thing that I think is missing for ports is an RJ45 jack, but honestly, this thing is thin enough, so I'm gonna let it slide. The power brick though, it's a 245 watt slim brick. Slim, yes. Small, well, not really. Like, if you're carrying this to class every single day, I'd probably just grab a GAN charger. I'll link some of my favorites. It's way easier on your back. You won't get full performance, but it'll keep the laptop running and your spine intact. Now, there is one thing that I love, the reverse notch. It makes opening up the lid super easy, and once it's open, the display folds almost all the way flat, which is nice if you're sliding it under a monitor on your desk setup. And the keyboard, like, this is one of my favorite looking keyboards. The RGB looks fantastic. You can customize each key individually. It's full size, arrow keys included. The travel distance is 1.6 millimeters, which feels satisfyingly clunky, and the glass trackpad is smooth, even if it's slightly off-centered. Like, I get it, if you have OCD that might trigger you, but for me, it really doesn't matter. Now, unfortunately, there's no fingerprint scanner. Instead, you get Windows Hello facial recognition. The power button sits in the middle, surrounded by a light ring that changes colors based on performance mode. Function Q cycles between eco, balanced, and performance. If you don't have it plugged in, it only cycles between a couple of profiles. But if you hit function R, it lets you switch refresh rate, 60 or 165. But if you get the 240 Hertz version, it'll also do 240. But we gotta talk about the one thing that Lenovo still can't get right. It's the sticker placement. Like, their sticker guy, the one guy that does all the stickers on all laptops, look how he put the eSupport sticker. Like, it looks like the Leaning Tower of Pizza. It's tragic. The star of the show, though, is that the OLED display is beautiful. And I get it, it's glossy and reflective, which can be quite annoying, but it still looks good. Over 1000 nits of peak brightness, perfect for HDR, 0 response time, and 165 Hertz refresh rate. Color accuracy is excellent, making it just as good for creators as gamers. Honestly, once you game on OLED, it's really hard to go back to anything else. Now, on the software side, Legion Space has come a long way. Like, I'm not a fan of ASUS's Armory Crate, MSI Center, or Gigabyte's mess of menus. Legion Space is finally clean, organized, and gives you everything: profiles, RGB, updates in one page. It's simple and the way it should be. All right, so you're looking at the front-facing camera on the Legion 7i. The lighting is like perfect right now. Being diffused by my curtains, the sun's not hitting here, so it should look really good, right? You guys let me know, obviously. But yeah, how does it look, and how do the microphones sound, and can you hear the air conditioning? Now, we gotta talk about performance, because maxed out, you can configure this thing all the way up to an RTX 5070. Sadly, there's no 5070 Ti version, but my unit is using an RTX 5060, which they say is pushing 115 watts. More on that later. But there is an Intel Core Ultra 7 255HX CPU inside of here. And look, this is not the fastest HX chip Lenovo could have gone with, but it balances power and thermals really well for this style of chassis. I do have 32 gigabytes of DDR5 memory and a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD inside of this thing. Single core speeds are right up where they should be for Intel HX CPUs, and multi-core performance is solid too. Sure, the Ultra 9 is going to edge this out, but honestly, this setup makes sense for a thin laptop like this. Photoshop runs great on this, but I feel like Photoshop runs great on most modern laptops these days. Browser-based work, no problem. Like if you're doing any modern web applications, it's gonna run great on this laptop. Mozilla Firefox compiled super fast on this, and if you're doing any sort of Premiere Pro work, even though it didn't get the fastest score, it performed where it should be for this laptop. But gaming, like that's where this machine truly shines. That's what you're mostly buying it for. And in 3D Mark Time Spy, the score put it exactly where an RTX 5060 should be. Yes, I wish it had more than 8 GB of VRAM for future proofing, but today's games run beautifully at 1920 by 1200. You can push QHD on later titles, and DLSS frame generation helps in games like Black Myth Wukong. Like I was playing Overwatch as well, and it's an older title. A game like that will easily be played at QHD+. But look, if you're playing FPS titles, definitely don't use frame gen because that does introduce some latency. And if you're wondering how this stacks up to a 4060, it's faster, but not by much. Like all the advantages would be with frame gen if that's your thing. Now, the thermals are surprisingly decent on this laptop. Like the CPU can spike up to 100 degrees Celsius, but it does settle around 84 to 85 under sustained load. Surface temps don't get uncomfortably hot either, which is great. And fan noise is reasonable. Like it never hits 60 decibels for me. The only gripe is their quiet mode. Like 43 to 44 isn't exactly quiet. It's still audible. I would have loved to see this thing go under 40, but obviously if you want to do some custom fan tuning, you can totally do that. Now there is one thing I did discover about this laptop, like the GPU is supposed to boost up to 115 watts, but the most I saw it boost up to was 104. Like that's kind of disappointing. That extra 11 watts would add a tiny bit more performance. The CPU, however, does climb up to 100 watts, so there's still a good balance overall. Now to get inside, you just use a Phillips head screwdriver, and once you're in, you pretty much have a few things that you can upgrade. 2 bottom firing speakers, definitely better than the Lenovo Lock, but they're obviously not the best speakers on a laptop. You do have upgradable RAM, so like right now I have 32 inside of here. I believe you can upgrade it to 64. Swappable Wi-Fi card, but I don't know why you'd want to swap it. This one is Wi-Fi 7. Pretty good heat and cooling solution. Pretty good cooling solution. Massive fans, good amount of copper. It does its job. Look, for storage, you got 2 slots. One of them is obviously populated. I'm getting pretty good read and write speeds. If you want to add a second drive, there's a slot over here. Battery, this is a big battery, and surprisingly, I wasn't getting the best battery life I've gotten at this kind of screen size. 16 inches, only giving me 6 hours and 3 minutes. Other laptops like the G16 will give me 3 hours more. So here's my take. I love this thing. At $899, it's not cheap though, right? Like you're paying for aesthetics, you're definitely paying for build quality, thinness, OLED, a great keyboard, and portability. Battery life is just okay, right? Performance is strong, but not class leading. But here's the thing, if raw performance is your biggest concern, obviously better deals exist for significantly less. But if you want one of the most beautiful gaming laptops out there, the white Legion 7i is really hard to beat. Like you are paying a premium for it. I'll place a link to this in the description down below, plus some alternatives if you prefer performance first. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.